just hoping a child will die. Hey, I don't mean to alarm you, and I don't want to harm you. Yeah, I'm just hoping a child will die.
Good evening and welcome to the Late Lap, brought to you loud and proud. Over 100,000 watts of all-American electricity from Studio 1396, Columbus, Ohio. I'm AJ Appeal. This is Pistol Pete's Speed Shop Coffee. Go to Temecula, California. Tell Jeff Blackmore and the gang that you're here for some fun. This is Late Lap. I'm AJ England. Tonight on the Late Lap, streaming goes full send. Grand Theft Auto breaks the internet again. Drag racing's most fearless women take Manhattan by storm. And Kyle Petty leads a motorcycle charge that would make Evil Knievel blush. From the company that sounds like a rejected Pokemon, Xumo, comes the NASCAR binge fest of your dreams. That's right. You can now shout NASCAR at your remote like a caffeinated Dale Jr. fan and actually get a result. Elsewhere in Florida, 2 criminals, 1 love story, and more neon than a Miami vape shop. GTA 6 dropped trailer number 2, and absolutely no one has been productive since. Meanwhile, over in New York City, Jasmine Salinas and Ida Zetterström reminded everyone at the Business of Women's Sports Summit that women in motorsports are the future. They've been the blueprint, and from 330-mile-an-hour passes to executive presence, these 2 are drag racing's fastest CEOs in waiting. And over in INDYCAR, Mecum Auctions said, let's take these vintage vibes and strap them to a rocket ship, joining Jacob Abel for a high-speed sponsorship that's part Barrett-Jackson, part Barber Motorsports Park. Tongue-in-cheek there with the Barrett-Jackson mention. Also, WillScot, in the world of IndyCar, is now the official provider of portable buildings for the Open Wheel Racing League. So yes, even race day porta potties now have a sponsorship because Penske doesn't do unbranded. But the loudest engines this week, they're not on a racetrack, they're on a mission. Today's show is mostly about motorcycles. Kyle Petty's 29th annual charity ride is officially underway, proving once again that the only thing stronger than horsepower is purpose. 225 riders, 1,400 miles, infinite impact for his great charity and his son's honor, the Victory Junction and the Gang Camp. And just when you thought motorcycles were out of gas, the heavyweight bike market roars back into a Harley on a hill climb, proving that 2 wheels still turns head, break markets, and makes a billion-dollar headline. This is Late Lap, where your favorite sport meets your favorite sarcasm, and where trailers, track maps, tech partnerships, and turbocharged charity rides are all sharing the same garage. Buckle up. We're streaming, scheming, and screaming toward the apex.
Hey, I don't mean to alarm you, and I don't want to harm you. Yeah, I'm just hoping a child will die.
And we are back here on Late Lap, and we're going to start with a really interesting story. NASCAR seems to be larger and larger known as the most popular form of American motorsport. Their media deal right now is $7.7 billion. Now, in the world of streaming, God knows you've got your favorite apps. Hopefully it's the YouTube and you've hit subscribe on Late Lap. But you could have Netflix, you could have Peacock. If you have a Roku device, you might have, a Tubi or an Apple. Well, I mentioned Tubi, and that's what NASCAR went exclusive with when they did their first ever Fast channel. Fast isn't a pun. Fast is free and streamable television, or something like that. Well, when they announced their first ever channel where it was 24/7 archives, old interviews, classic races, they went just with this Tubi service. Now, while you may have it, they may not. Many fans caused an uproar. And today, folks, we have a breakthrough. Whew, this is exciting. I didn't just wake up today thinking, you know, what's going to rock the motorsports world? A streaming platform named after a Scrabble hand. But here we are. Xumo, the love child of Comcast and Charter, just did something that actually matters. And look, I've been giving Tubi its flowers for a while. They've been the underground kings of NASCAR content, but today the velvet rope just dropped. The secret menu just got laminated. Xumo Play is now serving NASCAR 24/7 and for free. Now, when I say Xumo Play, you may think I have to get another subscription. I got to do this. I got to make an account. No, it's really cool. Go to Xumo.com, that's Xumo.com, and hit Xumo Play. You do not sign up, you do not pay, and you type in NASCAR, and there's the 24/7 NASCAR Fast channel. It's really interesting. Just like everybody, they have to make their money. They do have a premium package where you can buy a little box. It kind of looks like a Roku or an Apple TV. You plug it in. It looks a little bit, like those devices. But you don't need it. You go to Xumo.com, hit Xumo Play, and then find the NASCAR channel. I'm talking full season re-airs, vintage chaos, original NASCAR studio series, some documentaries, behind the scenes gold, and it's all anchored in one new hub across Xumo's entire streaming lineup. From stream boxes to smart TVs, you can literally just shout NASCAR at your remote and boom, it's DuPont jackets, Tony Stewart tantrums, and side drafting from your couch. NASCAR. That's all you got to do. You just yell at it. Nothing happened here, but trust the tech. More importantly, this isn't just another app with a glorified favorites folder. This is a true destination. It's NASCAR finally treating its digital library like the national treasure it is. And with Xumo joining forces on race weekends with pit stop lounges, snacks, phone charging, fan cool zones, they're bringing the content to the comfort. And that's what impressed me the most. It's not just that the channel exists, it's that it makes NASCAR feel accessible again. You see, when they went with Tubi, nobody had it. And you may not have Xumo now, but you can when you type in Xumo.com and hit play. It's remarkable. With Tubi, you couldn't do that. This used to be a sport you had to chase across 14 channels and pray to the cable gods for a replay. Now, it's on your living room television. It's on your phone, your iPad. It's not exclusive to the platform that streams forgotten cop dramas at 2 a.m. That's called Fox Nation. No shade, but you're no longer the only one with the keys to NASCAR Kingdom, Tubi. Put down your remote. We're going to talk about some appreciation. This move by NASCAR and Xumo, it's smart. It's fan first. It's modern. And for once, it feels like the digital direction of the sport is moving in the same direction as its fans. Forward. Check it out. Stream it. Scream into your remote, NASCAR. And if you're trackside this weekend, stop on by the Xumo Easy Street Pit Stop and thank them for remembering what it's like to be a fan. Because sometimes the best pit stop isn't the one that changes tires. It's the one that changes how you watch the race. Want to say thank you to those of you who are tuning in tonight here on Late Lap. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We've got more great shows just around the corner, including Name the Race, and of course one that we started years ago, and then my direction took me to LA. We're going to do Speed Quiz, a new game show here on Late Lap. Can't wait. Speaking of games, Grand Theft Auto 6. How old are you? Think about there was a time not long ago where Grand Theft Auto was known for debauchery in the video game world. People thought that kids were going to commit suicide. They were going to steal cars and murder women on the streets, because that's what it does in the game. Now listen, I'm not advocating for the nonsense you can do in the game, but I am complimentary of Rockstar and what they've done. And one thing we didn't like that Rockstar did was they made us wait 12 years for the new release. But Today, Rockstar, you win. You broke us. We aged. We grayed. Some of us even matured. But now it's real. Now it's here. Trailer 2, it's landed. And with it comes a tidal wave of emotions, crime, and a pair of protagonists who make Bonnie and Clyde look like awkward prom dates. It's been 1 year, 5 months, and 2 days since we got trailer number 1. That's longer than most of us lasted on our last gym membership. And yet, somehow Rockstar made it worth it. Vice City is back, baby. And it's tan, it's sweaty, and it's got more personality than your ex's group chat. Let's get the tough news out of the way. May 26, 2026. That's right. Grand Theft 6 has been delayed until Memorial Day weekend next year. If you thought it was coming out this summer, you have another year. Which means, yes, you now have exactly 382 days to prepare your thumbs, free up 300 gigs of hard drive space, and come up with an excuse to take 3 weeks off work without saying the word heist. Honestly, forgiven. Rockstar, you don't have to release the game. Because Rockstar, what they do, they launch global events. And this time, they've brought a Floridian fever dream of criminal conspiracy, social satire, and beautifully broken characters who probably still owe their weed guy $40. Meet Jason and Lucia, the new power couple in crime. He's a war-scarred grifter with trust issues. She's a prison escapee with a plan. Together, they're the hottest disaster duo since Tinder and Tequila. Vice City is their playground, and the rest of Leonida from swampy grass rivers to the terrifyingly accurate Port Gelthorn is your sandbox of sin. You want alligators? We got 'em. Failed theme parks? Yup. Pastel nightmares, crooked developers, viral rappers, strip club entrepreneurs, meth-fueled bikers, and more neon than a 1989 Taco Bell. This isn't just a game, it's Florida. Distilled, digitized, and dipped in chaos. Now, let's be real. This delay hurts. Rockstar left us hanging so long that we started watching Tubi just to cope. The app had exclusive rights to crime-based chaos until now. But with trailer number 2, the crowd has been yanked off Tubi's head and slapped onto a sunburned Floridian alligator in jorts. This isn't just another GTA, it's a generational event, like a Super Bowl that lasts 80 hours and involves less football and more felony. Or the Super Bowl. Like a Super Bowl and crime. Yeah, it's Vice City and beyond. And let me tell you, beyond the looks, they look at Florida, Grand Theft Auto, and your wildest social nightmare, had a baby and gave it a machete. Yes. It has been a long time. But the game you're getting, it's worth every painful delay. Every meme. Every, where's GTA 6? You've been patient. Rockstar's been quiet. But now the floodgates are open. May 28, 2026, Vice City returns. Jason and Lucia ride. Your life as you know it, at least in the gaming world, ends in traffic with 5 stars flashing in the corner. There were some other characters too, but we won't talk about them until next time. When it comes to class, we have great characters we can talk about, right out of the world of NHRA. All right, let's talk about something that actually moves the needle. 2 NHRA top fuel drivers, Jasmine Salinas and Ida Zetterström. They didn't just show up to race this time, they showed up to run the room. Welcome to the Business of Women's Sports Summit in New York City, where power suits and horsepower collided in the best way possible. Jasmine and Ida, both top-tier wheel women and marketing weapons in their own right, they took the stage to remind every executive in attendance that drag racing didn't just invite women to the party, it let them build the tower, stock the fridge, and stomp on that loud pedal. This wasn't a photo op. This was a blueprint. Jasmine and Ida weren't there to smile for sponsors. They are the sponsor's dream. And they showed up with receipts. Jasmine, whose current ride status is kinda in flux, somehow made time to drop corporate clarity on a 48-hour New York City turnaround. Meanwhile, Ida, Sweden's rising nitro thunderstorm, lit up the room with optimism, talking about how a $2.3 billion women's sports economy still has room to accelerate. And can we just pause and appreciate the irony here? In a world still awkwardly debating gender equity, the one series where men and women race on the exact same track for the exact same money in the exact same 330-mile-an-hour class just sent its 2 top women drivers, along with Brittany Force, of course, to a business summit, and they look like they'd been there forever. Remember that old speech where the Italian guy hit his shoe? What was that, Mussolini? Let's be honest. Jasmine and Ida are what corporate dreams are made of. Marketable, magnetic, miles ahead of the curve, NHRA has long been a haven for strong women. And from Shirley to Erica to Brittany, this is a pass of generations where they will continue to thrive. They're turning pit passes into press passes and panel invites. Jasmine's got Salinas racing blood, TikTok savvy, and social poise. Ida's bringing European flair, world-class stats, and a damn cool accent to boot. And while Jasmine may not be in a car right now, you'd never know it from the way she's commanding attention off the track. In fact, her next opportunity may not come from a pit area. It might come from a boardroom that realizes she is the brand. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, a couple of user comments, and we'll continue on tonight's episode of Late Lap, titled Motorcycle.
Hey, I don't mean to alarm you, and I don't want to harm you. Yeah, I'm just hoping to charm you, darling.
Welcome to Late Lap. Again, AJ Appeal, Studio 1396, Columbus, Ohio, brought to you by whoever's willing to pay me. And that does taste, look, feel, or treat you wonderfully, just like the advertisement tells you. We can add in advertisements and logos afterwards, but until then, we're just going to call it Late Lap. God, that's good. Okay. Dave W. Great Dave W. If you don't know Dave W., ask somebody. If they don't know somebody, smack somebody, because he's the real deal. Dave W. says, in regards to Ida and Jasmine, they are absolutely stars. Too bad neither of them race full time. Look, man, we all feel that way. That's racing right now. A lot of men and women are without jobs. But I agree with you. It is a shame. It'd be great if they were on the racing surface more often. You know, in regards to Jasmine, and let me be clear before anybody takes my words and spins them. A very reputable person told me that there will be a little bit more in the Salinas' future. And then I read on Twitter and followed up that Brian Loans is saying maybe that team is seizing. And I'm curious when the team will actually comment on their future. I'm not speculating one way or the other. Brian definitely knows what he's saying. He doesn't mislead the audience. But I'm curious, what's next for that Scrappers Racing deal? Because it would be a real shame if this is anything more than temporary. INDYCAR, Mecum and INDYCAR. Would you look at that? This is a crossover episode. Mecum Auctions. The home of Hemis, horsepower, and hammer prices is now sponsoring an INDYCAR. That's right. The same place where your Uncle Jerry once overbid on a 68 Chevelle after 2 Miller Lights is now backing Jacob Abel and driving full throttle into the most futuristic form of American open-wheel racing. Sold, sold, sold to the guy in the carbon tub going 230 through turn 1. Now, I love this move. It's a beautiful marriage of old school cool and high-tech speed. Think about that. On one end, you've got chrome bumpers, bench seats, and matching numbers. On the other, aero screens, dampers, and data overlays that would confuse the Apollo program. Mecum sponsoring an INDYCAR is like your dad learning TikTok and actually crushing it. It shouldn't work, but somehow it's fucking awesome. Big props to Mecum for not just sticking to air-conditioned convention centers and collector catalogs. They're stepping into the paddock, backing a rising star in Jacob Abel, and showing that love for cars, any kind of car, doesn't need a rev limit. And that's what I've told you all since we started this show. We are not a racing show. Are we going to talk about racing a lot? Yes. But you, the fan, you have to remember, racing does not exist without the support of the OEM, and the OEM doesn't do it without you buying cars. And the heritage, the prestige, the fame, the fortune of all the drivers, your great nostalgic memories, none of them mean shit without the auto industry. We're here because of the car. We're here because of people like Henry Ford. We're here because of Waddell Wilson and Suitcase Jake. We're here because of people like Coyle and Jim Prock now. We're here because of those types of people. Engineers, car people, men and women who know what happens when you lift the hood, or as they say over the pond, the bonnet. You gotta love cars. You have to understand that that's why racing exists. It upsets me sometimes. So this Mecum deal is great. Whether you're into the sandpipes and shag carpet or side pods and spec tires, this move proves it's all about the same gearhead family. Muscle meets motion. Classic meets carbon. Mecum meets INDYCAR. And suddenly, now I want to watch a 70s Corvette drag race. No, let me rephrase that. I want to watch a classic 70s Corvette drag race a Dallara just to see what happens. If only we could get a CUDA in the two-seater ride along. We'll stay in open wheel. We won't change lanes quite yet. WillScot in IndyCar. Major announcement out of Indianapolis. Penske Entertainment, ladies and gentlemen. Your long national nightmare is over. I'm going to try to get through this one here. Before we get to the fun, Dave's saying, Mecum has been a sponsor of IndyCar before. Back in 12, they run Oriol Servia's car, then on Sage Karam. I love it. I'm not saying it's groundbreaking. I'm just complimentary of the fact that they're joining again, and they're also going to join some other sports this year. It's just important to remind the young fan base what's still out there. So I appreciate that that note there. I'll be honest, I didn't know that, but I'm not really shocked. It was kind of overlooked by the press and frankly by young fans, and the car is so valuable to our legacy, to our history, to our interest, and it's overlooked. But I do appreciate the call out to those two drivers, and to Mecum for now we can share reinvesting in the sport. Similar to an investment with IndyCar is that they now have an official portable building partner. That's right. No more wandering, no more wondering even who provides the temporary restrooms. You know, sometimes when you got to go to the commode, the latrine, if you're a military guy or girl. I'm going to get through this. You see the brand on the plastic shitter door, and you already know if it's going to be a good or a bad experience. No, you already know it's going to be a bad or a worse experience. No more wondering at IndyCar who's providing it. The temporary restrooms are now climate-controlled storage. They are mobile offices that somehow look like a dentist's waiting room. It's WillScot, baby. Because when you're going 230 on the front stretch in Indianapolis, you need to know someone's responsibly and efficiently managing the modular buildings behind pit lane. Otherwise, there could be chaos. You think the magic of the month of May just happens? Nah. Somebody's got to set up them porta-johns and make sure they're inspirational. But in all seriousness, this is actually a very Penske move. Smart, professional, buttoned up. When you've got thousands of staff, media, sponsors, teams, fans, and probably at least one guy still lost from Carb Day 2016, You need scalable, mobile, climate-controlled command centers. And WillScot, they're the kings of the castle. They're like the Swiss Army knife of event infrastructure. They have offices, restrooms, storage, fencing, chairs, probably even a place to charge your emotional support golf cart. So it's not just porta-shitters, but they're providing a ton of mobile influence, and they're going to make sure that the race is properly staffed, properly supplied, and properly resourced. It's a great partnership. The greatest spectacle in racing, says Dave. And continuing with the theme of honesty, if Roger Penske is trusting you to support the biggest racing spectacle on earth, you've got the logistical game on lockdown. Hats off to WillScot. Welcome to the INDYCAR family. May your containers always be weatherproof, your air conditioning always bitter cold, and your mobile structures never, ever get stuck trying to make that turn onto Gasoline Alley. Catch a Sunset Grand Prix on Fox this Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern and tune in for the 109th running of the Indianapolis 500, now with 100% more professionally staged climate-controlled modular awesomeness. WillScot, because even fast people need a slow pace to shit down. Oh, Lord. More motorcycle news. And this one's a little Dugenet. DJ Bland tuning in tonight. Welcome, my friend. Everyone does need a clean crapper. Here's some stuff out of the drag racing scene, but the motorcycle scene. I said we talk a lot about motorcycles. PDRA, their motorcycle class, will now cease. It's official. The PDRA pulled the plug on Pro Extreme Motorcycle, citing 0 entries at the Mid-Atlantic Showdown and, quote, a lack of interest. And honestly, yeah, not shocked. Because motorcycle drag racing outside the NHRA is about as reliable as a 3-wheeled Vespa during a hurricane. Don't get me wrong, those riders are brave. They're skilled. They're completely insane in the best way possible. But in the pro mod world, where the four-wheelers are running carbon scoops and moon landing horsepower, bikes have always been treated like a cool sideshow. And now, they didn't even show. This ain't an insult. It's reality. Motorcycle drag racing has struggled to balance identity and professionalism outside the NHRA, who we all love. When you're up against teams with private jets and CNC machines in their trailers, showing up with a stretched Hayabusa just doesn't hold the same clout. Now, an NHRA, totally different story. Pro stock motorcycle is legit. The OEMs are kind of out right now, but it's still where the careers are made. Titles are earned, and the competition is fierce. Gage, Matt, Angie, Gianum. How about Richard? We just talked to him last week. He said things like blessing, surprise, emotion, and his deal was wild. He's living in the Gage era. He's still loving every minute of it. That's the show. That's the stadium. The NHRA is where the big boys play, and we all know it. Now, there's plenty of room for other promotions. And my friends at the NHRA may not like me saying that. I think that there's room for everybody. But there's got to be interest. There's got to be regional interest and regional money. I think right now there isn't those things. And so PRDA, they saw the writing on the wall. And Redline Oil is certainly not going to continue to sponsor the field. Now, if there isn't one, come to think of it, if I would have brought my motorcycle, I would have won this week. Now, an NHRA, totally different story. Well, lost my track. Let me get rid of that. Over in PDRA, it just wasn't clicking. It's sad. But it's not rude. It's business. And the truth is, if no one lines up, there's no ladder to climb. So farewell for now, Pro Extreme Motorcycle. You had the speed. You had the guts. Just not the grid. And to all those two-wheeled warriors out there, NHRA is still wide open. And the Pro, they are waiting. Now, there is some good news for motorcycles, just not in the PRDA. Folks, pour yourself a double shot of 10W40 right now and throw on that leather jacket you definitely can't zip up anymore, because the heavyweight motorcycle market isn't just alive, it's absolutely wonderful. While the PDRA just ghosted their pro extreme motorcycle class faster than a Suzuki Hayabusa in a school zone, the rest of the motorcycle world is thriving. Like $38.6 billion thriving. That's billion with a B, as in bitchin'. And not the kind of billion that disappears after a supercross season. We're talking full throttle, luxury grade, engine rumbling success stories. Apparently, the secret to market domination isn't more races, it's more road trips, better bikes, and riders with face and cash. What's fueling this? According to meticulous market research, let's be honest, no one with a name like that messes around. That wasn't me saying I did a meticulous amount of market research. That's a company, Meticulous Market Research. They say they are seeing a perfect storm. Motorcycle tourism is up. Disposable income, despite the economy in emerging markets, is up. Riders showing up to rallies with Bluetooth helmets, heated grips, and espresso machines in their saddlebags way up. Customization and digital dashboards so advanced your grandmama might accidentally order DoorDash from the tank display. Yes, please. And get this, retro bikes are cool again. So somewhere your uncle's rusted 1987 Honda Magna just increased in street value because it reminds someone of authentic freedom. It's all innovation on two wheels. This isn't just your grandpappy's panhead either. The modern heavyweight segment is going full sci-fi. We're talking ADAS systems. That's fancy for motorcycle doesn't want you to die today. Semi-automatics for people who love speed but not coordination. And entire bikes that plug in instead of fire up. Imagine this. Your next hog, and I'm not talking about your future ex-girlfriend, has more tech than your first apartment, and it runs on electrons, not ethanol. Welcome to the age of the Tesla Chopper Hybrid. Now, where is the rubber hitting the road? Asia Pacific is leading the charge, of course, but Europe is catching up faster than a Ducati at Mugello. Apparently, all it took was a few scenic Alps, $12 espressos, and the realization that motorcycles can be sexy, luxurious, and carbon neutral all at once. So what about here in the Western world, in America? We still like them loud, heavy, and chrome-covered, but even we're getting into ADV bikes and smart helmets that blink when your mom texts you. Who's cashing in on this opportunity? You name it. Harley, Honda, BMW, Ducati, Yamaha, Suzuki, Triumph, even even others, which sounds like an energy drink, but, oh well. Indian Motorcycle, still proving they're more than just a heritage brand. Royal Enfield, selling rugged romance in every corner of the globe. And Moto Guzzi, because nothing screams Italian confidence like putting a V-twin in a touring couch and selling it with a wine pairing. The takeaway, while the PDRA just canceled their motorcycle class because no one showed up, the rest of the world is showing up in record numbers. The heavyweights are back, baby. Remember when George Foreman came back? It was great. They're bringing the Bluetooth biometric seats too. And like I said, that billion-dollar energy. So if you're still under the impression that motorcycles are dying off like Blockbuster stores, surprise! The only thing extinct around here is being bored on two wheels. Put on my imaginary shades because in 2025 and beyond, it's not just about riding. It's about riding smarter, faster, louder, greener, and cooler than ever before. We'll take a look here in the comments here. Let's see here. Dave W., he says, I'm okay with the lack of climate control if it means great ventilation, talking about those latrines over at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He also says that they should pick up Pro Snowmobile instead. And then I see Dugenet with a whole bunch of emojis. I don't know if he's talking about me or about you, the audience, or if he's talking about Dave W., or if he's got a kid that took his phone. But I'm glad they're both here tonight. A lot about motorcycles tonight, and that's because we're leading up to this one. And this is important. I always try to do something delicate in each show. Tonight, it's about Kyle Petty and his Tour of Wonders, the route of righteousness. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what it looks like when horsepower meets heart. Take a moment A standing ovation, if you will, for one of motorsports' most enduring and heartfelt traditions, the Kyle Petty charity ride across America. It's like Sturgis got baptized and good intentions and strapped a Victory Junction gang flag to the back of every bike. This year, the 29th annual ride, 29 years of two-wheeled kindness, cross-country camaraderie, and doing donuts around cynicism, and in 2025, the ride's cranking it up to legendary, with 225 participants traveling over 1,400 miles from the shores of Traverse City, Michigan, to the warm springs of Hot Springs, Virginia. And they're calling it the Tour of Wonders. Wonders indeed. Lake Michigan, Lake Erie, Niagara Falls, Watkins Glen, the Henry Ford Museum, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And that's just the stuff they planned. This is basically the National Geographic road trip curated by kind-hearted outlaws. And you know what ties it all together? The kids. The kids at Victory Junction, the real MVPs of this ride. Since 2004, this camp has served over 136,000 children with serious and chronic medical conditions, all at zero cost to their families. Every twist of the throttle, every mile on this journey is for them. Kyle said each mile that they travel helps put smiles on the faces of the kids at the camp. And if that doesn't hit you harder than the smell of leather and motor oil on a summer morning, check your pulse or your spark plugs. Star power. It's practically a who's who of horsepower. Listen, right now, whatever you're doing, put your phone down. Listen. The king, Richard Petty, in his 80s, he's doing the whole ride. And he probably still doesn't use GPS. Others from the world of NASCAR, Kenny Schrader, Kenny Wallace, and Max Pappas. If they're not racing, they're riding. How about Herschel Walker, proving again that helmets and heroics go hand in hand. Rutledge Wood, Rick Allen, because it wouldn't be a motorsports party without someone narrating it and someone rocking some really cool glasses. And Bill Davidson, of actual Harley-Davidson royalty, just casually vibing with his great-grandpa's legacy strap to a V-twin. They've got some badass sponsors, too, some that you're familiar with, maybe some that you aren't. Coca-Cola, Harley, Blue Emu, Wiley X, Windcraft, Goodies. Heck, if you're not sponsoring this ride, you probably just forgot to call. This is a really big picture event. Since 1995, this ride has raised over $22 million. They've covered 13.1 million miles of proven ground, and you don't need a cape to be a hero. Just a helmet, a throttle, and a heart full of purpose. And how about Kyle Petty, the NASCAR veteran, retiree, former broadcaster for NBC Sports? He's not just a former driver. He's living, riding, and he's a reminder that good people do great things when they keep moving forward, even if it's at 70 miles an hour through Appalachia. So here's to 7 days, 7 states, 225 bikes, and one unstoppable mission. And if you hear a rumble coming through your town that smells like freedom and generosity, don't you worry. It's just Kyle Petty and his crew of two-wheeled world changers doing burnouts on behalf of kindness. Beep, wave, and donate. Follow the ride, support the cause, hug a local biker, because nothing's cooler than compassion at a full throttle. And that's a wrap on tonight's Late Lap. From streaming surprises to game-changing delays, rising stars to full throttle charity rides, it's been a week that reminded us just how wide the world of motorsports really is. Whether you're screaming at your remote for NASCAR, pre-installing GTA, or just quietly cheering for the future of women in racing, we're glad that you took this lap with me. Don't forget to follow me on the socials, subscribe, whatever you watch, support the causes that we mentioned, the drivers and their stories, and the memories that fuel the automotive community. As I say at the end of every great show, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, smile, be happy, and until then. And to our friends in the South, sea amable consigo mismo, sea amable con otros, sonría, sea feliz, hasta entonces, cuídese, take care.